In our home, the aroma of pine and freshly cut wood weaves a narrative reflecting Jeffrey's passion for woodworking. Each piece he crafts weaves a narrative much like the life we've built together. Once upon a time, we stepped into this house greeted by empty walls and floors that sang with the sound of our footsteps. Every corner whispers tales of our shared experiences, from the hand-carved dining table where we gather for meals to the intricate frames that cradle images of our adventures. Milo, our golden retriever, leaps into the room, his tail wagging furiously with joy. His energy captivates, weaving a tapestry of joy that celebrates the beauty found in life's simplest moments. Each morning unfolds with a familiar rhythm, much like the dawn breaking on the horizon. Milo and I run through the neighborhood, the cool air refreshing against my skin, his leash sometimes slipping from my hand as he darts after a squirrel or a leaf dancing in the breeze. As I step back into the familiar space of home, I discover Jeffrey immersed in his workshop with sawdust adorning his attire as if it were a part of him. He gazes upward, his eyes igniting with that cherished glow. "What tales do you have from the run?" he inquires, his voice a soothing echo. I share with him the tale of Milo's latest adventure, and his laughter resonates, creating a warm atmosphere around us. Evening meals become a cherished moment, a time to weave together the day's experiences as we gather around the table with delicious dishes before us. Jeffrey shares the tale of his latest endeavor at work, weaving through the obstacles faced and the little triumphs along the way. I pay attention, my thoughts divided between his words and the subtle shifts I've observed in him recently. At times, I catch a flicker of something distant in his gaze, a pause in his caress that feels unfamiliar. Yet, I choose to overlook it, convincing myself it's merely the weight of work or the usual rhythm of a relationship that has weathered many seasons. The evenings are a realm of solace. We nestle into the couch, a movie flickering gently in the background, or books cradled in our hands, the quiet surrounding us warm and familiar, brimming with a shared connection that needs no words. Yet lately, this quiet has grown more profound, filled with unspoken inquiries that linger in the air, too daunting to voice. One evening, while we were engrossed in a film, I caught a glimpse of Jeffrey's phone illuminating the room. He casts a fleeting look at it, his expression a mystery, before stepping away to answer the call. As I settle in to watch the film, my thoughts begin to wander, weaving through a tapestry of distractions. Upon his return, his smile shines with an intensity that feels almost unnatural, as if it's been crafted rather than felt. He tells me to just work, yet his gaze avoids mine. The following morning, as I jog alongside Milo, my mind drifts away from the trail beneath my feet and lingers on the events of the previous night. The crisp breeze fails to bring clarity to my thoughts. I choose to face him to inquire about the phone calls, the late hours spent at work, the unexpected journeys he's been embarking on. Upon my return, I find that Jeffrey has already departed, leaving behind a note on the kitchen counter that informs me he had to leave early for a meeting. As the days unfold, the familiar rhythm persists, yet a subtle tension begins to weave its way through the fabric of daily life. I often search for hints, whispers, anything that might shed light on the change in our relationship. One evening, as I was tidying up, I stumbled upon a receipt hidden beneath the couch. A week ago, a message arrived from a hotel where Jeffrey mentioned he was attending a conference. My heart sinks, yet I remind myself that there might be a plausible reason behind it all. The tempest I sensed gathering was more than a figment of my mind. It was genuine, and it was ready to reveal its wrath on the existence we had meticulously built. The stage was set for a journey through the heart, where bonds of trust, love, and laughter would face their greatest trials, revealing the hidden fissures beneath our seemingly flawless existence. Once upon a time, on a seemingly average Tuesday, something remarkable began to unfold. With Jeffrey off on a business trip, I found myself in the company of Milo, just the two of us in our little world. The house was steeped in an eerie silence, a stark contrast to the lively tales that Jeffrey often spun within its walls. In an effort to banish the solitude, I chose to treat myself to a rejuvenating spa day right at home. As I prepared for a moment of tranquility, I filled the bathtub with warm, fragrant water, set the mood with flickering candles, and let myself sink into the comforting embrace of the warmth. Milo, attuned to my calmness, settled beside the tub, his head gently resting on the edge, gazing at me with his warm brown eyes. As I lay there, my thoughts drifted through the ordinary work deadlines, the approaching family reunion, until quite unexpectedly they landed on the deep connection I had with Jeffrey. Initially the thoughts were pure, but as the steam ascended and the air became infused with the fragrance of lavender, my imagination started to weave its own tales. I recalled how Jeffrey's hands would glide over the contours of my body, his touch sparking a flame inside me that felt like it could consume all my concerns. The recollection of his lips against mine, the soft touch, the way he would murmur tender words that sent delightful chills through me. In those moments, those serene and personal interactions, I sensed a deep bond with him, as if our spirits were engaged in a dance that only we could comprehend. Yet in his absence, those memories emerged like whispers from another time, sharply contrasting with the chilling truth of his recent actions. The soothing embrace of the water failed to chase away the frost that had taken residence in my heart. I reflected on the space that seemed to grow between us, how his gaze would occasionally wander when we conversed, and the uncertainty that lingered in his caress. Could it be merely the pressures of the job, or was there a deeper narrative at play? My thoughts uninvited painted scenes of Jeffrey wrapped in another's embrace, his laughter echoing for someone else, his touch slipping through my fingers. The thought pierced the calm of my spa day, cutting through the serenity like a sharp blade. I attempted to set aside these thoughts, immersing myself in the soothing rhythm of the water caressing my skin, while the delicate glow of candlelight painted playful shadows that twirled upon the walls. In an instant, Milo's head shot up his ears, standing tall, and a gentle whine escaped his lips. As I turned my eyes to the window, I noticed the soft glow of the afternoon light slowly dimming. The sky outside transformed into a rich, deep orange, heralding the arrival of evening's embrace. I found myself wandering through my thoughts for far longer than I had planned. As I emerged from the bath, I enveloped myself in a luxurious towel, its gentle texture caressing my skin. As I dried off, I glanced at my reflection in the mirror, and a tale of moments unfolded before my eyes. My eyes gazed back at me, brimming with a blend of yearning and doubt. I felt compelled to seek out Jeffrey, to share my anxieties, to address the hotel receipt, to unravel all the thoughts that were eating away at me. Clad in my robe, I glided into the living room, the sound of my footsteps resonating through the stillness of the house. As I reached for my phone, my thumb lingered above Jeffrey's name, poised for a moment of decision. Yet there was an invisible force that restrained me. Did I truly have the courage to face the reality that awaited me? What if my hunches turned out to be true? The idea of our existence coming apart was daunting, but the uncertainty loomed even larger. I chose to hold off on reaching out to feel the pulse of his emotions, to listen closely to his words, searching for any glimpse of the man I once cherished. Yet as the evening wore on, my phone stayed eerily quiet. The stillness hung in the air, a thick shroud that stifled the familiar comfort of our dwelling. Milo, perceiving my unease, nestled his head into my lap, his warmth offering a gentle solace. I gently caressed his fur, murmuring soft words of comfort, though deep down they were more for my own solace. The night unfolded, and with every tick of the clock my determination grew stronger. I would approach Geoffrey not with fury, but with a desire to comprehend, to preserve what we once shared, or to grieve what is gone. The following morning, I arose with a determination that coursed through me like iron. I refused to allow this uncertainty to gnaw at the fabric of our connection. Today I would uncover the reality, regardless of the hurt it may bring. As I readied myself for the day ahead, clarity filled my thoughts, and my intentions were firmly established. The tempest approached, and I was ready to confront it directly. The soothing embrace of the bath and the quietude of the home enveloped me, guiding my mind into a realm of deeper contemplation where my thoughts began to wander into uncharted territories. In a moment of vulnerability, I placed my hand on the edge of the tub where Milo lay beside me. The stillness between us was oddly comforting, stirring reflections I wasn't ready for. Milo, ever attentive, lifted his head and let out a soft whimper, sensing my emotional unrest, as only a loyal companion could. Amidst a fog of uncertainty and emotional fatigue, I found myself facing thoughts I never imagined I'd have to confront about the nature of loneliness and the pain of emotional disconnect. The moment was fleeting, yet its significance was profound. The moment of understanding washed over me like a chilling tide, dragging me from my daydream into a clear, unvarnished truth. I leaped from the bath, my heart racing wildly within me. As the droplets cascaded down, I made my way to the sink, my fingers clutching the edge for stability. My reflection gazed back, eyes filled with disbelief and remorse. What had I created? The question lingered in my thoughts, a persistent rhythm of inner turmoil. Milo, attuned to my unease, let out a gentle whimper, his tail drooping in silence. I enveloped myself in a towel, the coarse texture brushing against my skin, a sharp difference from the gentle warmth I had just experienced. My gaze was averted, unable to withstand the purity reflected in his eyes, following the events that had just unfolded. The house had taken on a new atmosphere, the air heavy with the burden of my error. I made my way to the bedroom, every step weighed down by a sense of remorse. In the quiet moments, I found myself lost in a whirlwind of ideas, each one intertwining with the next, creating a chaotic tapestry in my mind. I perched on the edge of the bed, feeling the mattress yield beneath me, and gazed at the wall where our wedding photo, a cherished moment, was displayed for all to see. The picture of our joy, our love, now felt like a cruel joke in light of my recent actions. A wave of queasiness washed over me, and the room began to whirl ever so slightly. Could this be the start of a great unraveling? In a fleeting moment of vulnerability did I dismantle all that we had created together. As I extended my hand towards my phone, a shiver of anticipation coursed through my fingers. I found myself in need of sharing my thoughts. Yet I pondered, who could I turn to? With Geoffrey away, I felt it was best not to weigh him down with this "not at this moment." My thumb lingered above my sister's contact, caught in a moment of uncertainty. How can I share this in a way that resonates? How can I possibly express the profound layers of my bewilderment and remorse? Instead, I reached out to my closest companion, Laura. Her voice wove through the chaos of my mind, guiding me like a beacon in the tempest. "Greetings, Michelle. How's it going?" she inquired, her voice cheerful, oblivious to the storm brewing within me. I've got a tale to share, Laura. There are experiences that defy explanation." I stumbled over my words, my voice scarcely rising above a murmur. After a moment of silence, her voice took on a gentle tone filled with care. "Can you share what transpired, Michelle? Share your thoughts with me?" I inhaled deeply, the phrases weighing heavily on my tongue. It happened unexpectedly, but with Milo involved. It wasn't my intention for things to unfold this way. In that fleeting instant, an unsettling feeling washed over me, a deep sense of something amiss. Laura paused, lost in thought. "All right," she replied with a measured tone. "It's important to find your center. It seems like you're experiencing a moment of disbelief. Life is full of unexpected twists, Michelle. Did you cause him any harm?" "Oh, he's perfectly all right. It's simply... It seems as though I've turned my back on everything I hold dear." Laura offered me comfort, assuring me that there was no betrayal in my actions. As a human, it's natural to stumble from time to time. What truly matters at this moment is the way you navigate through it. Have you considered the tale you'll share with Jeffrey? The thought of Jeffrey stirred a fresh tide of remorse within me. I'm not sure. At this moment, my mind is elsewhere, lost in a whirlwind of thoughts. I must uncover the significance of this for myself and for our shared journey. Pause for a moment, Michelle. Consider the events that unfolded and the reasons behind them. Perhaps consider sharing your thoughts with a therapist. This moment doesn't have to shape your identity or your bond if you approach it thoughtfully. Her words exploded like a bomb, leaving a deep wound behind. I expressed my gratitude, vowing to reach out once more in the near future, and then ended the call. The house fell into silence once more, with only the gentle ticking of the clock in the hallway breaking the stillness. I reclined on the bed, gazing up at the ceiling, attempting to weave together the fragments of my broken identity. The night unfolded, and as the hours drifted by, my determination to face this challenge intensified. This fleeting moment of vulnerability will not shape my identity or unravel the bond that Jeffrey and I shared. Yet I had to embark on a journey within to find compassion for my own heart before I could ever think of sharing my truth or asking for understanding from others. As the first light of dawn seeped through the curtains, a sense of purpose filled me, guiding my next steps. I would reach out for guidance, engage in conversation with a professional, and navigate through this journey. And when Jeffrey returned, I would stand prepared to meet him, not burdened by remorse, but with a promise of truth and restoration. The tempest had arrived. Yet I was resolute in facing it to reconstruct not only our existence, but also my own sense of self. The days that followed unfolded like a chaotic tapestry woven with threads of guilt, confusion, and self-loathing. Each glance at Milo brought a wave of embarrassment crashing over me. Jeffrey's return painted a picture of normalcy, yet my thoughts wandered, shadowed by the echoes of my choices. I attempted to maintain my composure, chuckling at his humor, participating in our familiar rituals. Yet within me I was falling apart. I started to pull away, steering clear of any physical connection with Jeffrey and Milo. My nights unfolded in a restless haze, haunted by visions where I stood bare, scrutinized and sentenced. The burden of my hidden truth felt immense, and I found myself contemplating sharing it with Jeffrey. Yet the dread of losing him and shattering our family held me back, leaving me in silence. The thought of being alone with Milo had become unbearable. The sight of him brought back a wave of discomfort, not because of anything he did, but because of how deeply I had let my mind wander in my lowest moment. I would create reasons to step outside to escape the confines of the same space with him. Every time he gazed at me with those trusting, innocent eyes, a wave of guilt washed over my heart. Jeffrey, aware of the space between us, made an effort to connect. He would inquire if all was well, his tone filled with genuine worry. I would give a slight nod, a smile stretching across my face, and mention that I was simply feeling worn out or overwhelmed by work. Yet deep down I felt overwhelmed by my own remorse, unable to lighten the load for him. One evening, as we gathered around the dinner table, an unspoken tension hung in the air. As Jeffrey extended his hand towards me, his touch was soft and inviting, yet I recoiled instinctively, withdrawing. His gaze locked onto mine, a mix of bewilderment and pain clear as day. "Michelle, what seems to be troubling you?" "You've been so far away," he murmured, his voice soft and low. I took a deep breath. The word lingered in my throat. Lately I've been sensing a shift in my mood. I found the strength to speak, though my voice trembled. The deception lingered with a sharp aftertaste, yet the reality loomed too fearsome to articulate. After dinner, I slipped away to the bathroom, securing the door with a click. I turned on the faucet, allowing the gentle flow of water to wash away my racing mind. Yet even the calming flow couldn't erase the weight of remorse. I gazed into the mirror, confronted by a reflection that felt unfamiliar, my eyes shadowed by the weight of my hidden truth. The following day, I made the choice to reach out for assistance. I discovered a therapist, a person who could lead me through this chaos. The initial meeting felt overwhelming, as I found myself facing Dr. Ellis, a woman whose serene presence was simultaneously reassuring and imposing. I've embarked on a journey, one that has led me to a place of deep regret. I started, my voice quivering with emotion. I recounted the incident, the unintentional contact, the bewilderment, and the heavy burden of remorse. Dr. Ellis absorbed the words, her demeanor calm yet understanding. "It seems like you're shouldering quite a burden, Michelle. However, keep in mind that feeling guilt may indicate that your sense of right and wrong is actively guiding you. It's how you navigate that guilt that shapes your essence," she remarked, her voice carrying a weighty reality. In the upcoming sessions, we explored the depths of my emotions, my connection with Jeffrey, and my relationship with Milo. Dr. Ellis guided me to realize that my response was rooted not merely in the event, but in the deep-seated fear of losing what I held dear, my family. One evening, as Jeffrey prepared for a woodworking project, I observed him from the doorway. His focus, the way his hands danced with precision, brought to mind the man who captured my heart. The man I was on the verge of losing if I didn't face this challenge directly. I drew closer to him, my heart racing with anticipation. "Hey, Jeffrey, do you have a moment to chat?" Though my voice was soft, the determination within me was strong. He glanced upward, our gazes locking for a moment, a brief shadow of concern crossing his features. "Absolutely. I'm all ears. What would you like to share?" As I settled into my seat, I inhaled deeply. "I've been sharing my experiences with a therapist." I began to observe his response. With a furrowed brow, he chose to stay quiet, allowing me the room to unfold my thoughts. "I've embarked on a journey, one that has been gnawing at my conscience." As Jeffrey's hand extended, it found a gentle place upon mine. "No matter what challenges lie ahead, Michelle, we will navigate them side by side." The words lingered just out of reach, poised to escape, yet the dread of his response and the possible consequences held them captive. "I've got a tale to share about Milo." I spoke, my voice barely rising above a whisper. His expression shifted, uncertainty evolving into worry. "Milo, what's his story?" I shut my eyes, summoning my bravery. Once upon a time, I found myself in a situation that was less than appropriate with him. It was an unexpected turn of events, a moment that unfolded, leaving me with a weight of remorse and a shadow of embarrassment. The stillness that ensued was overwhelming. Jeffrey's hand slipped away from mine, his expression frozen in a blend of shock and disbelief. "Could you clarify what you mean by inappropriate?" His voice carried a calm, measured quality. I recounted the incident in the bathroom, with care describing the accidental touch and how it unfolded in a fleeting moment of vulnerability. Jeffrey's complexion drained of color, his teeth gritted tightly. I need some time to process this," he said, rising to his feet suddenly. The following days unfolded like a whirlwind. Jeffrey seemed like a character from a tale, his familiar charm now cloaked in a veneer of icy formality. The exchanges we shared were few and far between, leaving the house to echo with the memories of what it once was. I pressed on with my therapy, seeking a sense of tranquility within. Yet deep down, I understood that true healing hinged on how Jeffrey would respond. One evening, as we gathered in the living room, an unspoken weight filled the air around us. At last, Jeffrey found his voice. "Michelle, I've been reflecting deeply on what you shared with me. It's quite an overwhelming experience." I nodded, a flutter of anticipation rising within me. "I understand, and I truly apologize, Jeffrey. It was never my intention for things to unfold this way." With a deep sigh, he raked his fingers through his hair, lost in thought. "I trust you and I see the challenges you're facing, but I need clarity on how we can progress from this point." Emotions surged within me, and I felt the sting of tears gathering in my eyes. I longed to mend the fabric of our connection, to restore what once flourished between us. I'm dedicated to exploring my experiences, uncovering the reasons behind my choices, and making sure I don't find myself in that situation again. Jeffrey gazed into my eyes as if seeking something deeper within them. "My dear Michelle, my feelings for you run deep, and I am committed to navigating this journey together, though it will require patience and time. When trust shatters, the path to restoration is often fraught with challenges. We decided to navigate this journey one day at a time, to share our thoughts honestly, and for me to keep pursuing my therapy." The journey before them was shrouded in ambiguity, filled with the possibility of further suffering, yet also illuminated by the promise of recovery. The storm had truly arrived, yet we were resolute in our decision to endure it, to reconstruct not only our lives, but also the faith we held in one another. During a family dinner, an unexpected twist unfolded, capturing everyone's attention. Jeffrey, sensing my detachment, inquired if all was well. The worry reflected in his gaze, the enduring affection that had always existed, shattered me. In a fleeting instant of vulnerability, the words spilled forth. I shared everything: the confusion, the loneliness, the guilt that followed my emotional breakdown. Jeffrey's expression shifted from bewilderment to terror, finally settling into an expressionless visage of disbelief. The stillness that ensued was overwhelming. Milo, feeling the unease in the air, let out a soft whimper at my feet. With a sudden movement, Jeffrey rose from his chair, the sound of it scraping against the floor echoing in the silence, and made his way out of the room. The door slammed shut, reverberating through the halls, signaling the conclusion of everything we had once known. I found myself in that moment, the burden of my revelation lingering thickly around us. The dinner plates, once brimming with joy and shared moments, now sit in silence, cold and abandoned. The atmosphere was thick with an unspoken weight, each corner of the room echoing the significance of the events that had unfolded. I understood that Jeffrey needed room, a moment, to come to terms with the inconceivable, yet the anticipation felt like an endless ordeal. With each tick of the clock, the narrative of our lives unfolded, revealing the fragility of what we had constructed together, now precariously balanced on the brink of disintegration. Time drifted by in a blur. Jeffrey returned home late, a shadow of his former self lingering in the air. He averted his eyes, his actions stiff and deliberate, as though he were attempting to find his way through a haze of treachery and uncertainty. Our exchanges were few, limited to what was necessary. The dwelling, which had once echoed with the laughter and whispers of our intertwined lives, now stood as a quiet arena of unspoken feelings. As the evening unfolded and the sun dipped below the horizon, painting our living room with elongated shadows, Jeffrey finally found his voice. "Michelle, we have something important to discuss." he said, his voice carrying both sorrow and determination. I nodded, my heart racing, aware that this moment could shape the narrative of our futures. We gathered around the dining table, a place steeped in memories where I had once bared my soul, now a poignant reminder of the rift between us. I've been reflecting. Jeffrey started, his gaze averted, on what you shared with me about Milo, about our connection. His voice held a calm facade, yet beneath it I sensed a swirling storm of emotions. I understand, I murmured, my voice soft and faint. I truly regret what happened, Jeffrey. It was never my intention to cause you or our family any pain. He let out a heavy breath filled with exhaustion. Your trust in Michelle is clear. It seems to me that it was an unforeseen event, a fleeting instance of misunderstanding. Yet the bond we've established, it feels unsettled. I find myself at a crossroads, uncertain of the next chapter to unfold. Emotions flowed freely, cascading like a river down my cheeks. I wish to set things straight, Jeffrey. I'm in therapy, exploring the reasons behind my choices, aiming to prevent a recurrence. My heart is full of love for you, and I yearn to restore the bond we once shared. Jeffrey gazed at me, his eyes probing mine for genuine emotion. My feelings for you are just as strong, Michelle, and I yearn to have faith in what we share in the journey that lies ahead of us. Yet when trust is shattered, it becomes a challenging journey to restore it. Patience is key, as this journey will require significant effort and dedication. We decided to navigate this journey one day at a time, to share our thoughts honestly, and for me to keep pursuing my therapy. The journey before them was shrouded in ambiguity, filled with the possibility of further suffering, yet also illuminated by the promise of recovery. The tempest had arrived, yet we stood resolute, ready to endure the challenges ahead, to reconstruct not only our existence but also the bond that tied us together. It was during the nights that the challenges felt most intense. As I lay there, the distance that separated us loomed large, an abyss of unspoken words and untold tales. In the quiet moments, Jeffrey's breathing echoed softly, a distant reminder of the closeness we once knew. I yearned to connect, to experience the comfort of his embrace. Yet I understood that the path forward required time and compassion to mend. In therapy, Dr. Ellis guided me through the intricate tapestry of my guilt, fear, and longing to seek redemption. She inspired me to embrace self-forgiveness, reminding me that my misstep was not my identity, but rather my response to it would carve the path ahead. One afternoon, while strolling with Milo, I sensed a change in the air. As the sun kissed my face with its warmth, Milo's tail danced joyfully, a testament to his boundless spirit. It was a modest indication, yet it seemed like a stride towards familiarity, towards recovery. I realized it was essential to share that healing with Jeffrey, to demonstrate through my actions, rather than mere words, my dedication to our journey of recovery. That evening, I crafted a meal, arranging the table with intention, each plate a quiet testament to my commitment. As Jeffrey stepped through the threshold, he lingered for a moment, absorbing the tableau before him. In his gaze there was a glimmer of something, neither the embrace of warmth nor the chill of detachment. We dined in quietude, yet it was a unique kind of quiet, brimming with the promise of tales waiting to unfold. Once the meal was finished, I inhaled deeply. Jeffrey, I understand that this journey will require patience, but I want you to know that I will be by your side, navigating through the process of restoring what we've cherished. He gazed at me, a hint of warmth flickering in his eyes. I understand, Michelle, and I'm making an effort. It can be quite a challenge. I understand, I said, extending my hand across the table, stopping just short of contact but conveying the sentiment through the gesture. We will navigate this journey side by side, As time passed, the weeks unfolded, and gradually the quiet space between us started to transform into a tapestry of careful dialogues, exchanged looks, and the delicate restoration of faith. Jeffrey began to accompany Milo and me on our walks, his steps unsure at first, but slowly finding their rhythm with ours. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the landscape, Jeffrey reached for my hand, and in that moment everything felt just right. It was a gentle caress, yet it conveyed so much more than words ever could. We lingered together, fingers intertwined as the sky transformed into a canvas of orange and pink, an unspoken promise that we were united in our struggle for our marriage, for our love. The adventure had only just begun, and the road ahead was filled with obstacles. In that instant, as I held Jeffrey's hand, a spark of hope ignited within me, a sense that perhaps we could repair the fractures in our foundation and create something even more resilient from the remnants of our shattered trust. In the weeks that followed, our home transformed into a vivid tapestry of emotions. Jeffrey took up residence in the guest room, and our exchanges were conducted via legal representatives. The divorce unfolded quickly, driven by Jeffrey's desire to escape the shadows of betrayal. Milo found a new home with a friend, as the sight of him was too heavy with the memories of our shared past. In a cozy little apartment, I found myself surrounded by the whispers of my own reflections. The weight of guilt lingered, yet I embarked on a journey of self-discovery through therapy, seeking to unravel my thoughts and find a path to forgiveness within myself. As time flowed forward, the mark lingered, a perpetual echo of an instant that transformed it all. In the quiet of his workshop, Jeffrey immersed himself in the art of woodworking, each piece a chapter in his journey of solitude. Our paths crossed unexpectedly at a quaint little cafe. The exchange was courteous, detached, brimming with what remained unsaid. We both understood that certain aspects would remain forever altered, yet maybe with the passage of time we could discover solace in our individual journeys. As time unfolded, what began as days gradually transformed into weeks, and those weeks seamlessly flowed into months. My new apartment painted a vivid picture standing in sharp contrast to the memories of the home we once shared. It was a humble space, lacking the richness of cherished moments, yet it belonged to me, a canvas where I could begin anew a journey to rediscover who I truly am. My time with Dr. Ellis transformed into a guiding light in my life. Every session unfolded like a chapter revealing the layers of my actions and the motivations that led to my missteps. She would say, "Your worst moment does not define you, Michelle." Her voice wraps around me like a gentle embrace, calming the storms within. "Your essence is shaped by the way you overcome challenges." I started to write, sharing my reflections, my regrets, my aspirations for a fresh start. Writing transformed into my refuge, a means to navigate the turmoil inside me. I shared tales of Jeffrey, of the affection we shared and the hurt I inflicted. And gradually, through the ink on paper, I began to envision myself not merely as the woman who made a significant error, but as a person with the potential for growth and transformation. My work transformed into a sanctuary for me. I immersed myself in endeavors, in timelines, in the cadence of achievement. In the heart of my endeavors, I discovered a glimmer of tranquility. My colleagues observed the shift, the resolve reflected in my gaze, and they came together providing encouragement in their unique manners. One evening, while I found myself in solitude within my apartment, the stillness was interrupted by the ringing of my phone. It was Laura reaching out to see how I was doing. "How are you managing these days?" she inquired, her tone laced with worry. "I'm making an effort," I responded, the sincerity in my tone catching me off guard. It's a challenge, Laura. Each day unfolds like a struggle. Within you lies a strength that you may not fully recognize, Michelle. And keep in mind, you're not on this journey by yourself. She comforted me. Her words lingered in my thoughts as I ended the call. Never solitary. It was indeed a reality. I had my therapist, my friends, my work each playing a role in the narrative of my life. And gradually I was crafting a fresh narrative. A moment when I could gaze into the mirror with confidence, unafraid of what I might see. As the seasons shifted, so too did the way I viewed the world around me. As the leaves turned and the air grew crisp, a fresh perspective emerged, inviting reflections and tales of change. My journey began when I stepped into the world of an animal shelter, where each day unfolds a new tale of hope and companionship. A journey to rediscover the part of myself that cherished animals, that delighted in their pure, unwavering affection. In that lively place, surrounded by joyful barks and wagging tails, my journey of healing commenced. One day, as I strolled with one of the shelter dogs, I encountered someone special. Once upon a time, there was a man named Alex, who had a special mission in his heart. He arrived with a purpose, ready to find a furry companion for his beloved niece. Our dialogue began with a mutual passion for animals, yet it quickly ventured into more profound realms. He absorbed every word, truly absorbing, as I shared the chapters of my life, my missteps, my quest for redemption. Alex emerged as a companion, a soul who looked past my history, recognizing the individual I was working hard to evolve into. Our journey began with coffee dates evolving into leisurely strolls through the park, where our discussions meandered from light-hearted banter to deep reflections. In that moment, time seemed to stretch, allowing for a gentle unfolding of thoughts and feelings, creating a deep connection that blossomed naturally as the chill of winter settled and a fresh beginning emerged. I reached out to Jeffrey for a coffee meeting, a simple setting to share thoughts and maybe uncover some resolution. He nodded in agreement, and we found ourselves at that familiar cafe, the very place where our paths had crossed by chance months earlier. The atmosphere felt unique on this occasion. Amidst the unfolding events, a sense of calm prevailed, as if everyone had come to terms with the inevitable. I've been reflecting on our journey, on all that we've experienced together. Jeffrey began with a serene tone. In the quiet moments of my work, I've discovered a sense of tranquility. Yet I can't help but notice the transformation in you, Michelle. I confessed, my voice unwavering. I've been on a journey of self-discovery, seeking to comprehend and evolve. My heart aches for the hurt I've brought upon you, Jeffrey, and I genuinely regret it. He nodded, his eyes shimmering with a tapestry of emotions. I've come to a profound understanding. Though the past is behind us, there's a path ahead waiting to be explored. Separate paths, yet not in conflict. We shared tales for hours, reflecting on the past, envisioning the future, and exploring the potential for forgiveness. Not for mending, but for harmony. As we stepped out of the cafe, our hands met in a firm handshake, a quiet promise to part ways and embark on our own journeys of healing. With the arrival of spring, a tapestry of fresh starts unfolded. I carried on with my journey through therapy, embraced my time volunteering, and nurtured my bond with Alex. One evening, as we strolled through a vibrant park filled with blossoms, Alex gently grasped my hand. Michelle, he murmured, his tone soft and inviting. Your journey has unfolded before my eyes, revealing your resilience and power. I would love to join you on your adventure if you'll allow me. As I gazed into his eyes filled with genuine emotion, a comforting warmth washed over me, a sensation I hadn't experienced in ages. I would cherish that, I said, gently holding his hand. Life had its imperfections, yet it belonged to me. From the ashes, I forged a new beginning, discovering fresh journeys and newfound happiness. The mark of my history lingered, yet it had woven itself into the fabric of my narrative, a symbol of my strength, reflecting the remarkable ability of humanity to evolve and embrace forgiveness. As I strolled alongside Alex, the horizon ahead felt not merely attainable, but filled with hope and potential. And if you found the tale captivating, be sure to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. This will help us craft more captivating narratives for you.